Hello everyone, and welcome to the Church360 Ledger Training Financial Reports. My name is Kendall Woolery. I've been here at Concordia for almost 4 years. I am the lead software support technician. On the screen we'll have our support email address and our support phone number. Definitely feel free to give us a call whenever you have any questions. So today we'll have 25 minutes for the presentation of information. We'll have 5 minutes for questions at the end. Definitely feel free to ask questions throughout the presentation, and the recording will also be shared as well once we're done. So the things we're going to talk about today are set up with your accounts, budgets, and payees. We'll also talk about some of the standard reports that we can create out of Church360 Ledger. You can get reports from the transaction view. We have our reports, the general ledger report, the income and expense report, the chart of accounts report, the balance sheet report, and some of the reports and options we're going to be able to get out of the event log. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We'll go ahead and get logged in here then. All right, so now that we're in 360 Ledger, the first thing we're going to talk about is the ability to get some reports from different views within the system. So underneath our home screen, we're going to have the option to see, we can drill into each one of these different types of accounts: assets, liabilities, income, and expense. The main ones you'll probably be looking at is when you're looking at your specific accounts, you can drill down until you get into the like your specific checking account. And from in this view, you can print this particular view out to print it out so you'll have a view of that particular list of transactions, almost kind of a general ledger or a ledger view for just that account. So it's going to break down and show you your transactions and everything and what you've done. And the same thing will apply for liabilities, income, and expense. And you can also take this main view, which is going to take all of your accounts together, your assets and your liabilities, and kind of give you a running balance based on your selected date range. So this kind of mini report could be printed as well. So that's one option that you have when it comes to getting a report of the transactions or the history that you've got in your system. Another thing we'll talk about is budgets. So you might not think as budgets kind of as a report, but when you go into your budgets view, you do have the option to export this out to Excel, which is good in that if you're working on budgets for the year and you want kind of a report, you could change this to print. Let's see what happened in 2015. Pull up your 2015 budget numbers. You can export that out to Excel, print that off, give that to people so they can look at it, and then print off a blank sheet for 2016 and give that to everybody as well, or 2017, and give them that sheet, and they're able to see this is what we did last month, this is what our last year, this is what our budget numbers were, and kind of make use that to kind of see what you want to do. So the budget report is definitely something that can be used to get your information out, and here's just an example of that. You can see now this was looking at our budget for 2015, but another option is you can print out kind of as a report to get information out of the system and everything. So go ahead and close that. So another thing that we'll look at is payees. So with your payees, you're going to be able to get some information about them. And under Settings, Payees, you'll be able to see a list of all of your payees. When you hover over a payee, you're going to see this history option here. When you click on that, that's going to bring up a transaction history log for you based upon your date range that you have selected up here. So whether you're looking at a specific month, a specific year, a specific quarter, you're going to be able to essentially print this view out so that you kind of have an example of, or a quick snapshot of what you paid to a specific vendor all year. So anybody, if you have a specific vendor who wants to know what they spent, or people want to know what you spent for a vendor, you can quickly run this report to get an idea of what's been spent. So, and there's two different ways to access that. You can go through settings and then payees, or if you're back here on the home screen, I can click on a payee's name in the view, and that'll bring up the information for that particular payee. So I can see exactly what's been done. And again, you can change your date range to see the bill for the entire year and everything. And it would work the same way for your accounts. If you wanted to print something for a specific account, like if you click on Social Security and see the transaction history for that particular account, and I could print that view out. So that's another way that you can get information related to your reports. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the 4 different report options that we can choose from up here, and we'll start with the General Ledger report. Like I was saying beforehand, when you're on the home screen, you can click on a particular account, asset, liability, and you can get a report pretty much directly from there without having to go into this report. The General Ledger report gives you a few different options for creating, formatting the report to get the information that you want. The first thing that we're going to be able to do is, of course, choose our date range. So we can just look at a specific quarter, a specific month, and so forth. The next thing we're going to have is the type. Depending on the type of transactions you have in here, transfers, checks, deposits, payments, and journal entries, you can choose to only print a report on just checks or deposits. In this case, I'm going to do just checks and deposits. So we have a list of just those. And you can see here now, all I have in my list is checks and deposits. And you can see here these are voided transactions that are shown here that have been voided out. The next thing is we're going to have the option for a payee. You can group by payees so that all the payees are going to be listed together, or all the transactions related to a payee would be listed together. So if I keep scrolling down here, you can now see like every transaction for this is for AT&T is labeled here together. So grouping by payee, when you print the report, anything that doesn't have a particular payee will show together, and then everything that is tied to a payee you'll be able to get a report for, which makes it easier to find transactions for a specific payee versus having to scroll through the list and kind of pick them out one by one. Now, when I ungroup that, it's going to go back to a date order, and based upon that, you can do specific payees. So if I just wanted to look at a single payee, I can check all and then uncheck it, and then choose a specific payee out of the list, and now I have the information for that particular payee, and then select all to get them all back again. So when you group by payee, you can't group by account. So keep that in mind. Whenever you use the grouping option between these two, we're not going to be able to, you can't group by payee and then group by account. So the next thing we do have is our account option. You do have the ability to group by the account level or group by account so that you can see every single thing that's happening for just one particular account versus having to scroll through the list. So this is, it's helpful in being able to track down specific items for account versus, having to scroll through a list, go through every single transaction. Allows you to kind of see things separated out a little bit better. And again, same thing as payee. You're going to be able to pull up a specific account, or look at, if you want to look at what your taxes were for the year, we can uncheck everything and pull up our tax accounts and see what we've done for the year, and then quickly see the information there. So it makes it a lot easier, and I can group by and then print this report out. So now you have a decent report showing you there, everything broken out, what you've spent for these particular accounts. So it's pretty nice. Same thing goes, you can export it to Excel if you want to. So, but that is our General Ledger report. It's pretty customizable, and you have all these different options to choose from. The next report we're going to look at is the income and expense report. And this report, it's good to have your budget numbers in so that you're going to be able to take your numbers and then compare them with your budgets. So it's definitely important to get that information added in. Again, you're going to be able to choose a specific date range, whether it's a whole year, a quarter, a month. You're going to have the ability to do that. And then when we're looking at the report itself, we have our budget column, our actual column, percent of budget, and an amount remaining. What's nice about this report too is that you can get pretty high level and or I guess you could say low level here, and just get income and expense. Or you could drill in and where you're able to see each category that you've done, or actually at the account level. So if I was to just say my overall income for 2016, my expenses, I could print this report out and just say, hey, here you go. This is what we made. This is what we spent, and print this report out. And they're going to quickly be able to see, what your budget was, what your actual was, and how you made out for that particular month. And like I was saying before, you can collapse everything or uncollapse everything so that you see everything at a different level. So what's nice is when you've created your account and you set up your categories, you can run the report based upon how you categorize things. So I'm going to expand this few of these here. I'm keeping the first level of categories available. All right, so now you can see I got another report where my support staff, and then I've got all of these different items, these three here that make up support staff, and I got church expenses. So it's another way to get a report. Your numbers are still going to be the same, but it's got some customization options with how you want to do this report. Again, preview of it again. So kind of just depends how much detail people are wanting to see, but Church360 Ledger will give you the ability to kind of drill down and modify a report, kind of what you might be needing to do so. And again, it is exportable to Excel. We choose that option and be able to pull that up in Excel. Open here real quick. And again, with all of these reports, you do have to enable editing in order for the information to show. It's just a feature of Excel. It wants to make you verify that you are opening an internet document. So, all right, the next report we're going to look at then is our chart of accounts report. This is going to be a breakdown of all of your accounts that you have in the system, both asset, liability, income, and expense. So you'll be able to see exactly what you've got based upon your time frame, the date range as well that you have selected. Again, all of the categorizations are here too, so you can go low level and show just totals for assets, liabilities, income, and expenses for your particular time frame, or you can expand it out and see at a different categorization level. Again, it is going to be based on your date range, and print it out and have an idea how that looks here. So you can see here, it's simply going to show you, it's just going to show each particular account. I mean, you're not going to have assets, liabilities totaled, anything like that. It's just your asset starting balance, your ending balance, your change for that particular time frame. Same thing with liabilities, your income, what you started with, what you ended with, your change, and so forth like that. So chart of account is just going to give you kind of like a snapshot of how you particular asset, liability, income, expense account did during that time frame. And the report can also be exported to Excel, so you'd have the option to take it out to Excel as well and use it that way. Next report we're going to look at is our balance sheet report. Now, the balance sheet report is going to be looking at just your assets and your liabilities, and it will give you your a total down here of assets minus liabilities. You're going to have your starting balance, ending balance, the debits for that time frame, the credits, your change. And then down here, you're going to have the differences between, assets minus liabilities and everything based upon starting balance, ending balance, and the yearly change. Same thing as before. We can collapse all these down to see them at a, like a low level, not high level, where we're seeing each individual account being broken out. Printed out as well. Here's an example of what this one would look like. So you can see your assets, looking at your main categories. Same thing with your liabilities here, and have an idea of where you're at. And again, export it to Excel, and specific time frame that you want to look at. Just keep in mind that the categorizations and the date range gives you some flexibility in being able to get it, just see top level numbers versus broken it down to individual account levels. So another thing we'll look at is our event log, and there are several things that we're going to be able to get out of the event log. You do have the option to filter this report by particular actions that were taken, whether an account was created, account destroyed, you updated a payee, you printed a check, or finalized, which I'm thinking is more along the lines of reconciliation reports. So you can choose those, any options you want to do there. You can choose what transaction in account or reconciliation. You can look at particular users. So if you have different users using the program, you can take a look at what each user is doing. And then also as well, you're going to be able to see the message. You can print this view out, kind of just so you have a history of what people have done when they've been in the program. Also, if you're in here as well, if you click on any of these links, it'll take you back to that particular transaction, so you'd at least be able to see it. You can't print it, but you could see it. If you wanted to print it, you could take a screen capture of it. One of the most important things to be in here is printing off a reconciliation report. Once you reconcile the month and you save it, and when you go into the event log, it's going to show up in here saying reconciliation when it was done. And when you click on that, it's going to give you a reconciliation report. So you're going to be able to get that printed out and have a copy of your reconciliation. It's just going to show you the statement date, your starting balance, your ending balance, and then the particular transactions that you had actually cleared for that time frame. And let's see if I do print preview, and there you have an idea of what the report will look like when you go to print it. So, and again, you can export it export it out to Excel if you wanted to. But that's essentially what you can do with the event log report. So I can get rid of all these and just say, give me something that's created, and we'll do, there's no reconciliation, let's do finalized. So you can see here a quick way to see all the reconciliations we've done through the event log and be able to see those. So, and that is pretty much the reporting capabilities of Church360 Ledger. We talked about some of the different views that you can get reports from. You can drill into these particular accounts and then print this view. You can consider that to be kind of like a ledger report. It will work the same for all assets, liabilities, income, and expenses. And just keep in mind when you go to print this, it's not going to include the graph on there. If you wanted to get the graph on there, you'd have to almost take like a screen capture in order to include any of this graph, this particular graph on there. Same thing goes for any type of account here. We also talked about if you click on a particular payee or a particular account, that's another way that you can see a report just for that particular payee or a particular account. Under settings and then budgets, you can export your budget view out to Excel, so you kind of have a budget report if you need to give to people to see. And then, of course, we have our main reports, the general ledger, income and expense, chart of accounts, balance sheet, and the event log. In the ledger one, it's going to give you a breakdown of each individual account, so you can either group by payee or group by account to see all those transactions. Income and expense is just going to compare your income accounts and your expense accounts. Chart of accounts gives you a report where you're able to see your starting balances, ending balances, and the changes based upon your specific time frame. Balance sheet is assets and liabilities, and your event log is what people have done when they've been in the program. So there are, a lot of benefits of these reports, and the information that you can get out is pretty good depending on what you're needing at that time. And as always, no matter where you're at, you can export export your views out to Excel. And if you're only wanting to see certain things, you can manipulate this file. And if you only wanted to see deposits, we could sort by our type and make things that way. Then I could go through and I could quickly delete these all out here. So I mean, there is some customization. You're going to have, you could do a little bit of work in Excel to maybe get a view that you really want to see, but it does give you the ability to do that. So that completes our Church360 Ledger training on financial reports. Let's see. We do have a blog available that talks about any updates that are any releases that we have that you can sign up for at 360ledger.com/blog. There is a training manual available, and that is for $25 plus shipping. That can also be found on the 360ledger.com/training website. Again, my name is Kendall Woolery. I do thank you guys for attending today, and if you have any questions or need any help while using Church360 Ledger, definitely feel free to email us or give us a call at our support number. And no other questions or anything else today. I want to thank you all for attending again, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.